All right, y'all. That's crazy to me, cuz that's Ace,
Moss. What's
and we
up?
have a special guest coming in today.
It's Beauty Baba Yaga.
All right, so today we got our special guest, and the way I found her on TikTok as she was doing a cosplay for a Power Ranger, an obscure one. She was doing RPM, and I was like, I got to see if she could come on the podcast because I'm a Power Ranger fanatic. You're a Power Ranger fanatic. Moss is not really a Power Ranger fanatic, but we're gonna get
I
him
do
there.
enjoy Power Rangers, though.
He enjoys the he
You
enjoys the
phrase it
first.
like I don't watch it at all, like I never seen it.
He doesn't even know what it is,
He watches the
What's
first.
that? Air Kung Fu?
He watches the first season and he's like, I'm a Power Ranger fan, boy.
I mean, I used to watch it a whole lot as a kid, and I kind of fell off of it. I went through this phase of like, man, that's so fake, man, it's lame, I don't want to watch it. And then a few years later, I was like, what the hell was I thinking? This stuff is awesome. They're dinosaurs. I mean, what do you
Miss Baba Yaga. Now, what brought you into the Power Rangers? Because I see all that merch and everything. What brought you in to be a hardcore fan?
It just kind of happened. I used to have a real stressful day job, and I like to come home after a shift and just kind of veg out, watch like a TV show that was very relaxing. And I ran out of like fun Disney stuff. And then my brother was really into Power Rangers, but in a completely different way. He draws a lot and like paints, so he's really into monster creation, and he would watch it muted. Like he would watch it muted, doesn't know anything about any of the characters, would just wait for the monsters to come on screen and be like, oh, that's a cool design. Yeah, no, chainsaws and a pig. I like that. But I would like see it on TV at his house when I was visiting, and I'd be like, can you turn the volume up on that? But what are they talking about? So then I started watching it at my house when I ran out of Disney shows. And the first season I started with was Dino Charge. I was like, oh, this looks good. Looks flashy, looks fun. Mm-hmm. And it got me so hooked. And then I've just been trying to finish every season since then.
Right.
I'm so close.
Look, you're so close, and it's so many seasons. It's so many seasons.
So many seasons.
But what brought me into Power Rangers is the late great Jason David Frank. I watched it when it not came out because I wasn't born when it came out, but I watched it when it's out, and him switching from green to white just changed. I would start watching it then, and then after the new seasons, like I kind of stopped with Turbo because he left after being a Red Ranger for like 5 episodes. He was the Red Ranger.
It's just a little.
Just a little, but it was like this many episodes. I stopped because I was like, he left. My enjoyment didn't leave. But somehow I started watching Turbo again, and I was like, okay, we can see this, and then everything just happened. I started watching it like crazy. Mm-hmm. I have a question for you, and both of y'all can answer. Do you think Power Rangers is dying? Like the franchise as a whole, do you think it's dying, or do you think it's coming back with a vengeance?
I think that it's gonna undergo a rebranding. I feel like Hasbro is gonna start doing several TV shows with Netflix, and that could either kill it because it changes what the hardcore fan base wants, and maybe a lot of them will drop off and it won't pick up new fans. Or it could like throw it to a whole new level. Like it's more of what, like the format that a lot of people are getting really into right now with all the recent, Marvel TV shows and all that. Have like a big multiverse thing with multiple seasons going on at the same time. So I feel like that could really grab a larger audience.
Right.
I think as long as they do it well and stay true to the original concept behind the show, it's just like teamwork and, fighting the bad guys. It could be really awesome, but I do stay up sometimes at night worrying about it. Like, what are they going to do? And is it still going to be like the thing that I love, or am I going to not like it as much? But
Right.
It could go either way.
Because I was thinking that too, because I heard from recent sources that they are trying to make like a multiverse, expanding the morphin grid, because that's the one thing as Power Ranger fans, even if you read the comics and stuff, that's the one thing they really haven't touched is the
Mhm.
morphin grid, because the morphin grid gives everybody their powers, but like what established the morphin grid? Is the morphin grid like the speed force? It's just always been there? What's going on with this? And I feel like if they touched upon that, then that would have been amazing as well. So, what is? I need both of y'all to answer this. What is y'all favorite season and least favorite season?
Moss. Gotta.
All right. Okay. See, I don't think I really have a least favorite, to be honest. That's a combination of my memories of what I have seen being fuzzy and just generally having been too young the last time I watched it to understand what quality actually was. So like I wouldn't be able to tell you the difference in quality between one season or another because I was like 10, it all looked the same to me. However, I'll say that anything having to do with the dinosaurs would have been my favorite. The samurai stuff was a close second, but come on, man, dinosaurs.
Nah,
You literally can't beat them.
you can't. I can tell y'all mine. So it probably probably y'all probably got like
A little list.
a little. I have a like the main one I really hate with a passion, and I hate it, and I'm sorry, I hated that most of the actors in it. I just hated it. It was Megaforce. I couldn't stand Megaforce. Couldn't stand it. I felt like the Red Ranger was dry as ever, one motion. Um, None of the team I really liked, except for Gia. And then the
Megaforce is one of the ones I haven't watched yet. One of the
okay,
5 ones I haven't watched.
I'm
I
sorry.
haven't even heard of that one.
No, I've heard bad things, so I'm not really looking forward to it. But
It's it's so bad. I feel like that tarnished the Power Rangers like that. And then because you probably heard of the Super Mega Battle with all the
yeah, legendary battle.
yeah, the legendary battle. I was like, first off, that wasn't drowned out or anything. It was just like, boom, legendary battle, and that was crazy. And so that was my least favorite. Now, I need to hear this list so far. What you got? What your least favorite is?
Oh, my favorites is the list. Least favorites. Okay. I'm always waiting for the controversy to drop and like all of the hate mail to start streaming in. I rarely occasionally mention what my least favorite season is, and no one's really picked up on it yet. So this might be the time.
To break
My least favorite season is Dino Thunder.
What?
Oh,
What? What? That was one of the
Dino
greatest
Thunder.
ones. What?
That's like that's one of the ones that really popularized the show.
Yes.
I need to make a video about it because really, like, Dino Thunder, Trent Mercer is amazing. And Trent and Anton's relationship is like all-star. Like that one of them's always evil when the other one is good. Love that. If the whole show had been it'd be my favorite show. I love that Tommy comes back. I love that there's some age diversity in the Ranger team. We got the high school students and the teacher. That's fantastic. I love the suit performance from Mesogog. That guy he's always like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And the antagonistic human characters, the high school kids that are bullies, have like one of the best written arcs ever, from like bull to slowly like coming around bit by bit until they have the like moment at the end where they make the good decision and don't like reveal the Ranger identity. But the problem is I hate the main characters. I hate them. I think they're so blandly written. To me, they feel like cardboard cutouts that just keep saying a catchphrase over and over again. And also, I mean, Connor McKnight, there have been moments where Rangers are like jerks. You know, like Eric from Time Force is just a jerk for no reason all the time.
Yes.
But Connor, like, really, out of any Power Rangers thing I've ever seen, he is in the like systematic misogyny category. Like, whoever was in that writing room, they were like, wouldn't it be funny if this guy objectified women and a whole bunch of shit like that? I'm just like, no, it wouldn't be funny. I don't understand why he's a ranger. He's a shitty dude. He's a bully, jock, womanizer. I don't like him. And it's not the actor's fault.
It's the way he's wrote. Yeah, I get what you're saying. The way he's
understandable.
Yeah.
I just like watching that season. A majority of the scenes are him and Kira and Ethan. Kira's like, she's cool-ish. She's still really kind of boring to me. But
the whole music aspect for her, I was like, okay, I guess she's trying to be an artist, but it's like that right there, that kind of threw me off a little bit because like you said, the character dynamics, it was kind of weird because if you think about it, Connor, if you think about it, all of them that was like they was in detention. It was like detention or a field trip.
Need extra credit to get out of summer school.
It was something crazy that I was like. And this is the team that we supposed to follow. What encouragement is this? The only person I could really relate to was the Blue Ranger, and I could never remember his name.
Ethan, yeah. He is so one-dimensional. I feel like they were like, oh, what are we gonna do? We'll have a jock and a computer nerd and like a goth chick, and it'll be thing because it's like a big dynamic. Like they're all really different, and it's fun to see them interact. But then they never got past that conversation as far as like developing the characters. And I feel so bad because I mean, so many people love that season. It has amazing suit designs. It has so much cool stuff going on. But when I watch the episodes, it's like a sad vacuum. I feel like there's so much bland character stuff going on, and I can't get into it.
I have to agree with you right there because Connor was one of my least favorite Red Rangers. It was like, especially when the episode when he finally got his battleizer. Because usually in other Ranger episodes, when they get the battleizer, it's cool and exciting. It's just like he was just like, "Yeah, get this." It was like,
well, everyone puts the effort in, and then he puts the suit on.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, I'm a suit on. Like,
that was a great idea to have the team need to lift up the Red Ranger, because it's like really awesome to show that everything is a team effort in Power Rangers, but it takes away from the normal plot, which is having the Red Ranger undergo some sort of trial or test of like whether or not they're a good leader or a good person, which is how they get the battleizer. So he really have that
or stress. Usually it's like stress, like they about to like die, and then the battleizer come. But it's just like, oh. And then I have another least favorite. I will let you finish with your Thunder, but then I have one more least favorite.
No, that's all I was going to say is I just think that it was a good idea for an episode, but it kind of took something away from him as a Red Ranger.
Yeah, it really did. My least favorite was, and everybody probably going to be like, kind of agree with me. It's going to be 50-50. They kind of agree with me. They kind of not going to agree with me. I'm going to say it was Mystic Force for me.
Oh,
it was Mystic Force for me, and let me explain why. And it's all because at the end of the day, if you don't have a strong Red Ranger, you're not gonna have a strong strong series, because you gotta think about it. The Red Ranger is always the face. It's always the face, and if you're not gonna have a strong Red Ranger, anyway.
Yeah, it's the same problem with the battleizer arc in Dino Thunder, is that having him give up at the end and Maddie talking back into it with her powerful speech is a great writing idea, because it's about team and it's about her finally coming out of her shell and being the one that gets the team to go back into it. But at the cost of, he just suddenly, you're like, well, he's the worst Red Ranger ever because he gives up in the last episode. He's just like, we're in this cave, we're all gonna die. I'm just gonna go over there.
Yeah, and then it was like, I was like, come on now. It, like, if he was a stronger character, I feel like Mr. Force would have been, because it had different ideas and different focuses and everything. I love how dang it, is it? I cannot remember his name, his dad's name.
Oh, his dad's name is Liambo or Korag.
Korak, yeah. So when when I don't care what nobody say, when Korak come to find out that was Liambo possessed by the evil one, I was like, the master. I'm sorry, the master. I was like, great. But then what also threw me off about the season, you know how you have like one big bad in one
Yeah,
Power Ranger?
like it becomes another show halfway through. They're like,
Yeah.
no, 10 guys.
And
For
then
like 6 episodes.
and then as after that dude with the arrow, and then it's like the magical titans, and then it's the master. I'm like, why is it 4 flipping different type of villains in this book? It was like in the middle of the season, it was doing a season reboot in the middle of the season. I just didn't understand it. I was confused. Because I was like,
yeah. I personally love Mystic Force. I don't know, his wizards. And also, so like Vita and Chip are so well written, and I love them so much. And then I feel like the other characters are really slept on, like trying to make Maddie the shy, introverted character. They kind of just didn't write anything about her. There's like, well, she's shy, so she never has any dialogue and she never does anything. I'm like, okay, well, those are not the same thing. And then like Nick he's just there basically.
Yeah, he is
just there.
He had like a couple moments throughout the season, like, but it was just like Nick. It was they was trying to make it all about him with Udana.
That's all about Udana and Liambo. It becomes about the side characters with him as a focal point, and nothing ever really like happens with him.
Right. So, Moss, you probably, because like you said, you haven't caught up with it, but do you got any opinions for the ones that you have watched?
Like favorite? Oh, Moss.
Yeah.
I really liked all the time travel stuff when that happens. I believe now correct me if I'm wrong on the covers here. But one of the moments I remember the most from my childhood was when I believe it was the White Ranger came from the future.
That was SPD.
And,
yeah. That was SPD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that was like, I don't know why, but that single moment and like that series has kind of, I don't remember a whole lot of details, but it's one of the main ones I remember.
SPD phenomenal.
It was hands down. Now, before we get to the favorites, I watched one of the TikToks that really made me start watching you. It was the one that you was talking about the merchandise when it comes to Power Rangers.
Yeah, right.
I never put 2 and 2 together because I don't really buy merchandise Power Ranger stuff because that's a lot of money. Do you feel me? Yeah, I can see you got 3 helmets in the back. I need you to tell me how much.
I've spent too much money on Power Rangers. I'm actually broke right now. My phone just sent me a little alert, and it was like, hey, somebody listed a new Power Rangers hat on eBay. And I was like, I can't afford it. And then I looked at it, and it was a Time Force hat with the Blue Ranger on it. And I was like, I don't have a Time Force hat. I need it. Like, well, I guess I'm not going to get gas this week.
Like, I'm a big Power Rangers fan. Don't keep me wrong. You can ask me anything, and I probably will stump you on Power Rangers. But let me tell y'all, this is only 2 merchandise I got.
I'm loving the blur out effect as you go to the back of the room, it's still trying.
Right.
All right. It is, y'all was talking about me. I don't appreciate it. But it was the pink Funko Power Ranger.
In front of your face and blur it out. Okay, there we go.
The pink one and the red one. And then let me tell y'all a funny story about this. I was about to complete the set, right? The set has the white one. Mm-hmm. It's gonna complete it in my cart. About to pay for when I get it was like $80, right? JDF died. Took it out. now when I was trying to research for it again, now that was $400. I said, how the heck is that jump up that much in price?
It's just upsetting and devious and disrespectful. I hate scalping.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it's a good way to make money, but it just seems like it is directly a victim crime. You know, like they say something, it's a victimless crime. This is like directly there is a victim. You have victim individual with this crime.
Thousands of people, actually.
Yeah, because if you think was like we all said that JDF died. We all said, but y'all are just like trying to be money hungry about his death, and that's not cool.
And it's just so like jumping right on it. Like the day that he passed away, prices started going up. It's and I mean, like, I guess if you waited, then people would buy it cheaper and you wouldn't have any left to mark up. But like, why do you have to mark it up?
Right.
His stuff was already pretty marked up just by how popular he is.
He was, because you gotta remember he was like the face of the Power Rangers. And then that's one of the questions I'm gonna ask you before the episode ends. He was the face of the Power Rangers, so does stuff that's gonna start marking up now. Now, we'll go ahead and ask you that question. Since he was dang near the face of Power Rangers, who you think is gonna take over that spot? It's gonna be hard, but who do you think?
I feel like it's probably going to be a shared position. We already had like some secondary, face of Power Rangers people. I feel like Jason Font from Time Force does a lot in the public eye. I mean, he did a lot of stuff with JDF. They were buddies.
He had an interview. I was sorry for cutting you off. He had an interview that he was like in tears. He was like, dude, I just called him like the day before it happened. We was on the phone for like 2 hours.
Man.
Then he was like, he basically said in an interview, I'm never gonna be quitting for being a Power Ranger. And that's usually what everybody says. So it's like, once you're a Power Ranger, you never quit being a Power Ranger.
Well, it's a family. It definitely is.
It definitely is a family. Like, especially in like the later seasons with Dino Charge and Ninja Steel.
I just found out about that.
I know. I saw your post.
What's my freaking mind? I was like, what?
He was like, I been found that. They even look alike. Come on now. They do look alike.
Like, I always felt really bad. When you have those moments where you're like, oh my God, I am a racist. Like, I was like, these guys look so much alike, but it's just because they're Asian American and they're the Blue Ranger and I'm being a douchebag. Like, no, brother.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Hilarious.
You know what? You know what's crazy to me? That we still haven't heard what's our favorite. We've been talking about merchandise. We need to stay on topic. What is your favorite Power Ranger season? You got to give me one. You just got to give me one.
Near and dear to my heart, the one that's always going to be top of my list is Dino Charge. I feel like a lot of people, whatever's the season they got into it with, it has that nostalgia of this is where I started. But even besides that, I love the big team, because the thing that I love about Power Rangers are the character-driven episodes where somebody, learns lessons, they form bonds, and they, ships. That having that huge team, there's so much character development, and I love having that many actors and characters forming all these different relationships and interacting with each other. I mean, I love a 6-person team, but like 10-person team can't beat it. And then SPD is also one of my top tier, which also has 10 Rangers, but 2 of them are only in 1 episode each. I mean, Kat's in the whole, but she's only a Ranger for 1 episode.
Right.
So it's the same. But yeah, favorites, I might catch hell for this too, but I really love the Neo Saban era. Everyone hates on the Neo Saban era. I mean, granted, I haven't watched Samurai or Megaforce, but I actually really like Dino Charge and Ninja Steel. Those are some of my faves. And I love Beast Morphers. And then
Beast Morphers was great.
Ninja Storm and Mystic Force and SPD and RPM are like, those are some of my go-tos. Like, if I want to go back and rewatch episodes, it's probably going to be one of those seasons.
I'd also have to go with Dino Charge, but I have nothing to add. So,
my favorite, all right, yeah, we got 10 minutes. We're gonna make this quick. My favorite season was, and I'm gonna catch a lot of smoke from this. Gonna catch it. I already know.
Much fear of the other fans, and what will they think?
I don't even care. My favorite was Time Force, right? But the only reason why it's my favorite, it wasn't because it was great character. They all had great things, but the reason because it became my favorite was I think it was either Time Force became was before Lost Galaxy, right?
No, it was after. Time Force is 2001, and Lost Galaxy was 1999.
Okay.
So.
Well, both of them are my favorite, but I feel like somewhere where the Ranger dies in the season, like they actually kill the Ranger off. That's my favorite season because they have the guts to let you know that not always the Power Rangers are not always is going to succeed.
Yeah.
And Lost Galaxy, that hurt me when the Pink Ranger she died.
Well, I wouldn't say they're not always going to succeed though, because she did succeed. She just died.
It's more like they're not always. It's more like letting people know that the Power Rangers are not invincible.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. So she died, but she died. It kind of made me mad. They kind of retconned it to bring her back to life at the end.
In the end of the last episode, yeah.
Yeah, that kind of made me mad because I'm like, that sacrifice doesn't mean nothing, man. Because it's like, if you're gonna bring her back, then
may as well have not done it.
Yeah, may as well have not done it. But my favorite one, it had because it was in the first scene. Was it the first episode? First episode, like the first 5 to 10 minutes of the episode, you saw the Red Ranger dying. Not coming. He didn't come back to life. He was dead. And I was like, oh yeah, this series is about to be all for him. This series. And then Time Force had so many good moments in it and me because we gotta remember the bad guy. You remember his name?
Rancic.
Yep. Rancic. He was a normal dude. He was a normal guy. And something happened at his job to mutate him, and then everybody shunned him. And now he back on his kick. I'm like, oh, so y'all shunning me, y'all kicking me out. I'm about to be evil and take all the people that was being shunned. So my thing was, if he was never in that accident, if he was never shunned, if he was never none of that, Time Force would never existed. And you see what I'm saying? So the society made him how he is.
Time Force has a lot of great plot arcs just about discrimination. I mean, there's that whole episode. There's the backstory of Rancic where he's a bad guy because everybody was mean to him. And there's the episode where that one mutant is only in jail because he's like a mutant. I think he shoplifted something, and Trick stands up for him, and Eric's being like a huge racist douche and trying to kill this dude just for being a mutant while he's running around scared, and Trip's like, look, it's just a person, stop being a jerk.
Right.
All right. Hate to interrupt, but it's time for our fun fact / my that's crazy to me moment. And you might not know this, but it is a fact that Power Rangers would not exist if it were not for Spider-Man.
What?
I've got a whole story here. What?
I did not know that. Okay, go ahead. We got 5 minutes. Right. Go ahead.
So there was a show called Super Sentai that Power Rangers is mostly based off of.
Right.
It's Japanese. It's a lot longer running. If you look at the series, they're identical. You can tell Power Rangers is mostly Super Sentai. In 1978, the Toei company went to Marvel and Stan Lee and Steve Ditko and asked to use Spider-Man, and they gave them the go-ahead, right?
Right.
So they make this Japanese Spider-Man show. You may have seen memes about it. If you've ever seen the Spider-Man with the hammer on the ground, like crawled around trying to hit stuff with a hammer.
Yeah,
Or, you know,
mm-hmm.
yeah, that is not like just a meme. That was the actual Japanese 1978 Spider-Man show. They gave Spider-Man like a giant flying mech in this show, which inspired them to put giant mechs in Super Sentai, which eventually went on to inspire the Power Rangers, which would have never happened without that random deal that went on for like one season in the late 70s. Thank you, Spider-Man.
That's crazy. That is actually crazy to me. I never knew that. Miss Bobby Yaga, thank you for being on our show. Thank you for you are our first actual guest that has like more than 1,000 subscribers. Maybe not 1,000 subscribers, 1,000 followers on Instagram. I just have to look at your stuff on TikTok. You got 56,000 followers. You doing your thing.
Yeah, I just love Power Rangers, and apparently a lot of people do too.
Oh yeah.
And I just really appreciate you giving us the time of day to talk about one of the things that we love. And go ahead.
Yeah, any opportunity to talk to someone about Power Rangers, I will take. Because none of my friends watch the show, and I rarely have an opportunity to actually talk, not in person, but we're speaking in real time, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm not just talking at you about my favorite season. You actually know what I'm talking about. So yeah, thank you for having me on.
If you could and if you could share and post on your Facebook, I'm trying to grow That's Crazy to Me into a bigger audience and everything. So if you could just give it a shout out, that would be great.
Yeah, I've been putting up anytime I do an interview with somebody, I've been putting it up on my link tree because I figured anybody that wants to watch my 3-minute videos might be interested in a full conversation.
Right. And then because I said to watch your 3-minute videos, it was like another one that I really got hooked on was the Beast Morphers when they got their power-ups.
Yes. And for some reason, Ravi's is like touching stone and then you get like a beam. It does like it's materializing. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make no sense. I have to put two and two together. I was like, yeah, huh? Yeah. That doesn't make no sense at all. It's just like, but what other power can you give super strength? Make them even stronger? It was just like, what else could you do with them?
Like super strength, pinnacle, you can't go up from there.
Yeah, like, so what else could you do with them? Oh, before we go, Beast Morph first. I love how that was the most kind of multiracial show I feel like ever. It was like you got black, then Ravi was, I don't know, like Indian,
I think.
We're gonna take it. But then you had a cyborg, and I love Steel.
Oh, Steel's amazing.
Steel Moss, when you get a chance, when you watch it, and you see Steel, like it's called Beast Morphers and Super Beast Morphers.
Yeah.
When you watch it, you're gonna fall in love with Steel. Steel is so amazing.
At Ranger Stop, the guy that does the suit work for Steel, Reed McGowan, it was his first Comic-Con in the US because he's from New Zealand. And man, just amazing dude. Like so nice and just fun to hang out with. I hope he comes to more Comic-Cons because I'd like to see him again.
Okay, I got two questions and we got a minute. So we're gonna make this like 30-second rounds. First question. Have you been to Morphicon?
Yes, my first Comic-Con ever was PMC this year. So
what'd you go as again?
What did I go as?
Yeah.
I was something on Friday and something on Saturday and something on Sunday. No, on Saturday I was Vita, the pre-morph suit, and my mother went with me and she dressed up as the Mystic Mother because somebody said that would be funny, and it was. And then on Sunday, I have the Bridge pre-morph and morph suit from SPD, so I did both of those. And then, and on Friday, I was Tori from Ninja Storm. That's one of my newest morph suits that I got. I don't have the helmet. I don't have as many helmets as I'd like, but
we're gonna get there. You're gonna get there. Okay, before we go, we got like 20 seconds. Sorry, Moss, go ahead.
I was gonna wrap up. We don't have 20 seconds.
Takes 20 seconds to wrap up.
Go ahead.
Well, now we're out of time. Have fun. Don't do drugs. Drink lots of water. Sit up straight.
All good advice.